So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Janelle Edens. I'm the federal point of contact for IRP-NE-1, which is an international challenge problem for nuclear energy. And the technical point of contact is Dr. Bob Hill at Argonne National Lab. So today I'm just going to give a few key points on the IRP and talk a bit about what we will expect from the proposals. So just to give a bit of background on how we came up with the idea for the IRP, the US and Japan, we participated in bilateral collaborations for many, many years under what we call the Civilian Nuclear Energy R&D Working Group, or CNWG. And in the background slides, I provide some more information on CNWG so you can see what specific areas we collaborate on. And one topic that kept coming up at our meetings was, well, how do we facilitate sharing facilities between these two countries? So at the last CNWG meeting in May, it was decided that one near-term opportunity to share facilities would be through a university IRP. So that's how we came up with the idea for the International Challenge IRP. So this next bullet talks about the goals and objectives of the IRP. The goal of this IRP is to solve a significant problem which presents a challenge to expanded use of nuclear energy worldwide. The main objective of the IRP is to support education, development, and training in multiple technical disciplines associated with the use of nuclear energy. Some more key points to consider: the IRP imposes a requirement where both US and Japan must participate. Only universities are eligible to lead this IRP. And we anticipate that the IRP will last up to 3 years, and the US contribution will be $3 million. The government of Japan will also provide funding to support their researchers. So the next couple of slides give some more details on the IRP scope. Applicants are required to define a problem which represents a challenge to expanded use of nuclear energy worldwide. And we do give some examples of challenges, but this list is by no means meant to be all-inclusive. There are several other challenges that you can define and propose. But if you do decide to define your own challenge, then you must elaborate on how your particular challenge will meet the goals and objectives of the IRP. So this slide gives a little bit more detail on the IRP work scope. This IRP imposes international collaboration requirements with Japan. The project team must include at least 2 Japanese educational institutions. The team must include a lead PI from a US university and national lab staff. And the project team must also include a co-PI from Japan. All of the US funds that were provided under this award, they have to be spent at US universities or their non-university partners. Like I mentioned before, the government of Japan will fund support for their researchers. And in order for the Japanese side to get the funds, they must apply for funding from their government. Like I mentioned previously, facility sharing is one of the main objectives of this IRP. In the US, we have the NSUF program, where we have a very wide variety of different nuclear facilities that could be of interest to our Japanese colleagues. Similarly, on the Japanese side, they also have several research facilities that would be of interest to US professors. So our thought process was that using this IRP, by collaborating between US and Japan, we will be able to enhance facility sharing between the two countries. In terms of the project deliverables, you must provide a detailed project schedule. If you do plan to develop any software, you must provide a verification and validation plan. You must include a final report, which includes all of the elements that are listed on the slide. And finally, if you anticipate that you will generate intellectual property, then you must describe how this IP will be handled. This slide gives a list of some of the potential researchers from Japan. This list is not meant to be all-inclusive. There are several other Japanese researchers that you could have on your team. As you can see, we did not list any US universities, and that's because we expect that the onus will be on the US professors to reach out to their Japanese colleagues to form teams. So this last slide gives some contacts in Japan to help you inform in your teams. Our main point of contact is Mr. Kasuga from MEXT. So if you're having trouble with finding a Japanese collaborator, we will encourage you to email him and he will help you with this. He also has knowledge of the government of Japan's interests and priorities, which will be very helpful since Japanese researchers have to apply and be awarded funding from their side. And we also list a few other points of contacts that will be helpful in forming your team. And the last bullet gives the schedule for funding for the Japanese side. And of course, the schedule for the US side will be given in the FOA that will be released soon after these webinars have been concluded. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Okay, we'll take questions over the next few minutes. Please submit them on your GoToWebinar application.
Do you know if Bob Hill is on?
And let's check and see if Bob Hill is available. He is on the phone. Bob, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. We can hear you as well.
Can we ask Bob if he has anything to add?
Bob, do you have anything to add to Janelle's comments?
Nothing to add to the presentation, no.
Okay, let's start into the questions then. Can a Japanese university be a partner on more than one proposal?
I believe that would be allowed. Would that be allowed by the NEA process? Well,
Yes. So as a when it comes to the NEAP requirements for collaborations, a collaborator can collaborate on whichever proposals that they see fit. So there isn't a direct requirement
right.
on that issue.
So I would think that they could be as many proposals as they like, but we would probably only make one award. So yeah, one award. So
How many U.S. universities are required to be part of the IRP?
well, right now we just specify one or more. So as long as there's at least one U.S. university, but we always encourage more than one for IRPs.
Is the involvement of national lab members recommended, or is it a must?
How it's written, it's a requirement. It's not a requirement? Okay, it's a recommendation. Okay. You might have to edit the words.
There's a question about is use of NSUF required? I'm going to have Kenny Osborne, who's our program manager, respond to that.
No, it would not be required. In fact, it cannot be used. This is not an area that is tied to an NSUF work scope, so there would be no NSUF access under this or link to this work scope. Yeah, they could use the facilities, but there would not be funding as a result of this.
So I think if you're interested in a particular facility, you would have to have the owner of that facility on your team to gain access, right?
The next question is, does the Japanese government have a say on the winner? The answer is no. Are industrial partners on the U.S. side encouraged?
Yes, definitely. We always encourage industrial partners.
Can a Japanese corporation participate?
A Japanese research corporation can participate, but we require at least 2 Japanese universities. But of course, other entities like JAEA, for example, could also collaborate.
We'll hold on for another minute or so, so please submit your questions immediately if you do have them. Is JAEA participation required or mandatory?
Well, it's not required. They're one of the potential institutions in Japan that you could collaborate with, but it's not required. Only the Japanese university is a requirement.
Is the project focused on research, workforce development, or both?
Probably both. I think that by performing the research, you will develop the workforce. So those two go hand in hand.
Right, it appears those are all the questions we have. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you, Bob, for being on the line.